Chris, the only thing I might ask you to do is halfway repeat some of the questions that I asked you. So if I say, like, what's your name?
Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
What's my name?
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson.
Big win today for Chris Johnson. That a little bit earlier today on videotape. He's the fellow who is fighting with a locket pinned to his boot. Inside the locket is a picture of his brother Greg, who had hoped to make the Canadian Olympic boxing team.
I was born in Jamaica, and at the age of 8, I moved to Canada with my family, my parents and my brothers and sisters. I grew up and moved to Kitchener, Ontario, and that's where it all began, in Kitchener. Yeah, I started boxing at the age of 9. Yeah. Well, my older brother was doing it. All my brothers were doing it. I had 3 brothers. Kevin, Wayne, and Greg were doing it, so it was inevitable. I'm in the same household. I mean, this is what they do, and I'm just fresh from Jamaica. So, I mean, my brother Greg says, okay, just started teaching me to box, and from there, it just took off. I believe Greg was getting into a lot of fights at school and stuff like that, so one of his teachers or something like that suggested that he go and pick up a sport like boxing, and he met Arnie, and that's the history.
Arnie Boehm?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard you mention Arnie Boehm. Who is Arnie Boehm?
I love working with kids. They need coaches, they need direction, they need help. And I love that, to see a young man develop from not knowing anything about the sport to developing into a good boxer and a good person and so on.
Arnie Boehm is perhaps the best father figure, best mentor that anybody ever had in Kitchener. Me and Lennox Lewis, myself, just a whole bunch of kids that I think were lost at a point. You know, Kitchener was very fortunate where in the 70s, Jamaica had a whole bunch of immigrants come up to Canada, and I don't know what it is, but Kitchener, a lot of them was there. So, and Arnie was, you know, Arnie's a white man, and in his gym, he'd have like 30 black kids and like 2 or 3 white kids, and you know, it's just. But that's how it was, and it was home to us. Oh yeah, it was definitely popular back in the 70s, 80s in Kitchener. Even now, it's not as popular now, but even now there's still a fever of boxing. Not as competitive as we were back then, but it's still there. But like I said, not as competitive as it was back in our day. And I was very fortunate to come behind guys like Bobby Prue, Mike Turco, Lennox Lewis, you know, Phil Lindsay. There was just so many athletes, boxers there that I was able to look up to. My brother Greg, we look up to and come up to, right? Where now it's hard. Yeah. And plus we had Arnie Boehm, who was just, he's phenomenal. Oh yeah, my brother and I, well, my brother was boxing a little longer than me, but we were national champions. I think he won the senior nationals 4 years straight. He just missed out on the '88 Olympics and just missed out on the '92 Olympics like that. My brother was exceptional. When I'm talking exceptional, power, speed, creativity. I mean, he had it all. Just had all the tools. Just psychologically, things didn't fit in at the right time for him mentally. So it's unfortunate, but one of the best fighters I've ever sat beside in my life.
Well, he's older than you.
Yeah, he's 4 years older than me.
4 years older. Okay. And he fought, what weight class did he fight?
He fought welterweight, 147.
So he's just under you?
I'm 165, so there was 154, then him. So
okay,
yeah.
Fair.
The moment I started, I took it serious.
Seriously?
Yeah. It was just something that was in me. fight in me. I didn't know my family until I was 8 years old. I didn't know them. So, I mean, there was a lot of fight in me.
Family came up first.
Yeah, family came up first.
That's a lot of
yeah. So, like, there was a lot of fight in me. And, you know, I wasn't educated. You know, I wasn't a very smart guy. School wasn't my thing. So I didn't feel comfortable in school. I just didn't feel it. But you could take me to the gym and it's like I'm sitting in the couch or laying in my bed. I just felt so comfortable in that scenario. So from the moment, it's like when I threw my first punch. Boom, oh, what is this? Well, Greg was definitely like that, sure. And my other two brothers, Kevin and Wayne. Wayne technically was sound, but Wayne is a team player. He likes sports. He likes sports where he can flourish and use other people. He's just a team sport. And Kevin, the youngest one, probably would have been the best out of all of us, but again, he followed in Wayne's footsteps. He liked team sports. He played football to a high level. He played basketball to a high level. So we were all athletes, but I just stuck to boxing. I think what it was that, like I told you, when it's a time when we came to Canada, Kitchener flourished with athletes. Yeah. So we had no way but to fit in. And we were very fortunate that we picked the sport of boxing, and the levels we went was just incredible. But it was just filled with athletes at the time. We had football players, basketball players, everything in that time. Great athletes that made it to higher levels. So it was the community that we were in that pushed us too, right? It was definitely like that in Toronto, but in a different way. We had a small community, and the community impacted each other, right? Where Toronto's a little bit more spread out, right? And it was just different. It was just a great community atmosphere back in the 80s, you know. The early 80s, late 80s. I look back, and a lot of the kids came in that gym, and white, black, Indian, whatever, a lot of them didn't have that father figure. A lot of them didn't have that father figure. And even if they had that father figure, he was a different type of father figure to them. He made us love him. He made us respect him. And how he did that was he went up and beyond the call of duty for every one of us. There was nobody that was more special than any other. He treated us all the same. I remember we'd go like 16 strong in his suburban to Toronto and fight and win 15 fights and come back, and he'd give us lunch or feed us all through his money, not asking parents for money, all through his money. He'd feed every one of us going home. So he was just an incredible man. He was an electrician. Okay. But he lost his job because of his hunger and his drive for the sport of boxing.
Yeah. I find a lot of coaches are like that. Like people who love the sport, obsessed. It's like...
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
I'm obsessive, but at the end of the day, I'm a believer that I have something special inside of me. I'm a believer from day one that I am special. I'm not a normal person. When I believe that I have this drive in me, that I have this special thing in me that can create world champions. And here in this community in Canada is very hard, but I still believe that I can do it, and I won't stop until I do it. You say obsessive? Yes, I am somewhat obsessive, but it's a true belief in myself. I've done it once already, and I believe that there's talent out there that we can do it again and again.